Yeah, so Jarek is curious. The one of the other times during the night we saw that pack of kobolds going to one of the other temples. Um, s- Wondering if maybe they go to other temples as well. So he's almost thinking maybe we
I lost you at other temples? Or were, oh, that might have been my headset.
can you hear me now? Chris, can you hear me?
My bad.
Yeah,
If you're still talking, I am getting no sound. 1 second, I have to figure out what just happened.
and yeah, I can hear you, Justin. It's fine.
Any luck, Mara? But anyway, I guess Chris. So essentially, my thinking is maybe we try and camp in the other building to the north that we cleared, that kind of like apartment building. Um, but if you think we should maybe camp in the actual temple, that's fine with me.
No, I'm fine with camping at the northern apartment. Thing is,
I
like I
don't
said,
know how much you guys heard there. I lost sound. Sounded like you guys were plotting and planning between yourselves, so we're all good. But I'm back now if you had questions.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yeah. I'm not sure why, but for like a minute there, my Bluetooth was like oscillating on and off. I hope that is not a tendency. I thought when I fixed it that I was good.
Yeah, I know that problem. So, so I basically I was just saying, like, I was thinking, maybe we should camp in the building to the north that we cleared, that other apartment building, rather than the temple itself. And then Chris seems to, uh, or Taryn seems to agree with that idea. So I think that's probably what we'll plan on.
You are not inclined to meet the kobolds?
I want to kind of keep an eye out for them, like keep a watch, but I don't know what they'll do if we're in the temple when they arrive. They're Although it would be nice to question them, maybe get some information, mention it.
Let me have you two make intelligence tests, checks for me. I wonder, do you have history? Island's got history. You could do them as insight, so you can add proficiency to those DCs. Your proficiencies right now are 3, right? So 21, yeah, that's solid. Um,
Yeah, mine might actually be a 22 because I've got a -1 intelligence.
well, no, the roll is still there. Like I was saying, like I'll do it as like an insight intelligence check. So it would just add proficiency. But like that
Right.
18 already shows you rolled.
Yeah, so it'd be 19 plus 3, so it'd actually be 22.
No, no, but what I'm saying is I wanted an intelligence check, but I was using your proficiency from insight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Um, so I would say one thing Jarek could pick up about that idea of watching for the kobolds is you're counting on them using the stairs, but you guys are on the back side of that temple. If you're trying to watch the entrance, you're on the opposite side of it. So you're hoping to see the kobolds use those stairs, is what that plan would kind of really end up being.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Uh, yeah. In that case, maybe camping out in the temple and trying to see if they come by might not be a bad idea. Taryn.
Yeah, I mean that's fine too. They didn't seem too combative at the last temple we saw them, so hopefully they won't take too much offense.
Oh man, this is so weird. Does that change it where you are thinking about staying inside of the temple, or would that change it where you're thinking about doing something like the last time where you camped near the entrance so your watch like is overlooking it, but maybe not even inside of the temple grounds?
Yeah, maybe nearby. That way we'd be able to potentially see them on their approach, waiting till they actually come inside.
Gotcha. So you all have another one of those walls of like the highway that's to the west of it, where you could camp in a very similar fashion inside of the vines, or you could camp on the east side of it, where there's a couple of buildings. The southernmost of those buildings would give you again something kind of behind you that you could be in an alley, or kind of like the streets below. Um, More or less gets back to what would you like to do?
You think, Taryn?
I'm partial to having us on the west side, so we have well the alley between the temple and the highways, I'd say.
That sounds good to me.
Let me have the two of you make survivals. Gotcha. So you guys can set up a solid camp. It's kind of that same idea where you are digging yourselves in, not really cutting a path to, but opening up a section inside of the vines. So you almost have like a dome of vines, like walling you off with the stone of the highway system kind of behind you, giving yourselves much more protection as you kind of wait into the night here. As far as watches go, I think we'll have something of these sorts, being that the two of you would probably play one of each character. Is really the otherwise we can have you do your sidekicks. It's up to you whether you want to do roles as um, Island and Zaps or just as your sidekicks. Do you have thought there about using like Zeros on watch versus using Island?
Um, Maybe I'll use Zeros just so I don't know. I'm never sure exactly how I'm if I'm playing like the Islander Zaps kind of true to form.
The fact that they don't show up means that you are.
Yeah, maybe best to keep it with like the regular party. So yeah, I can do either Island or Zaps plus Jarek.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
between yourselves, you two can decide which ones that you end up doing. Um, as far as like a second character goes. But inside of D&D Beyond, you all should be able to select on their character sheet and use it in the same effective way as if it was your character. I believe that's all set up correctly.
Taryn, you have a preference, Zaps or Island?
I can take saps, I guess. Don't really have a preference.
All right, I'll take Island. In terms of a watch order, um, you'll have Island offer to take the first watch. Jarek can follow him up.
Yeah, and then go for Saps and then Terran.
Alrighty. Let me get a perception from Jarek there.
And that's Island.
Oh, my bad. I wrote down the order wrong. I don't know why I heard Island will follow him up. Alrighty. I didn't roll for rain. As far as your first watch is going to go, Island is going to be able to kind of hang out watching over things. I think you guys are in a full moon pretty much still. Coming off of a full moon, but there's still plenty of moonlight to kind of look over the grounds uh, vaguely opened up in front of you here. As far as things go, you've got a good view of kind of that street corner. Or that little street alleyway to the water. There's certainly plenty of like normal kind of life that's kind of happening here. He is not going to notice anything substantial like the kobolds or anything that seems predatory or even like a sort of a large animal. Uh, Watch is just going to progress by. If you will do one more perception there from Island. Oh, if I leave push to talk unmuted, you guys could actually hear me rolling dice, and I can have that mind fuckery all over again. Um, yeah, I think the rain's going to pick up through his watch. He's going to end up going to get Jarek at some point, feeling everything has gone by pretty much same, just natural happenings of the jungle, a little bit deeper rains as his hours go on. But when you are ready, let me get one from Jarek here. So during your watch, the rains are going to start to lessen as the kind of drops stop kind of covering up a whole lot of sounds of the jungle kind of coming to life in the nighttime. You are eventually going to see signs of the kobolds coming to the temple. Um, Still a larger group, probably about like 6 to 8 kobolds or so. They seem to be kind of marching forward with different tools. Nobody in particular seems to be carrying any sort of weapons at all, but they seem to kind of be going about their business. Do you want to try to come out and encounter them? Do you want to wake people and over and like watch? What sort of thoughts crosses Jarek's mind as he sees the kobolds coming to the temple?
Do they seem to be fairly fairly tight group, or are there any like stragglers? That as far as I can see.
Uh, man, that's very interesting, very new. Please roll a perception check here. Investigation check. This is second bit. You've already seen what you can see. You can spot some gaps by a few feet between them, but I'd say if we've got like 6 kobolds walking in this group, you've got probably no more than like 40 to 50 feet from the front to the back of the group. So they're no more than really 5 or 10 feet away. What are you trying to do?
Well, I was just thinking like if there were like a greater amount of distance, essentially try to essentially pick one off and question it without being noticed. But since that doesn't seem real likely, I think Jarek is going to try and quietly wake Taryn. Given Taryn's the stealthiest among us. Thinking maybe we, just observe, try to get a sense for what they're doing in the temple before we confront them. He doesn't want to confront them openly just yet, so he's going to try and quietly wake Taryn.
Let me get a D100 from you, please. Yeah, I'd say like the outliers of the group are still traveling in pairs as you're looking. So when you want to wake Taryn, what are your thoughts as the two of you discuss the kobolds?
Maybe give them a couple minutes to decide and see if we can spot what they're doing in there. Sneak in behind them if we can. I think Taryn.
Yeah, I am kind of curious what they're doing in the temple. They don't know we're there, then it's gonna be more natural. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
So thinking maybe we'll kind of watch them go in, give it, try and maybe do a count about like 2 minutes, and then try and sneak up.
Let me have the two of you roll a intelligence.
Brilliant plan.
How long did you say? Just like 2 minutes?
Yeah, like 2 minutes.
Roll a die. Odd, you're going early. Even, you're going late. All right, so 80%, 2 minutes. You guys are just under a minute after they've gone in. You kind of approach like within that first minute, about 40 seconds later, realistically. You guys can start to climb out and head on in. Initial plan, I assume you were still going to be stealthy when you were heading in there at 2 minutes.
Yep, trying to be.
So let me get from this one. We'll do a stealth from all four characters. If you guys still have their accounts open, you can roll them. Otherwise, I can roll them. Excellent. Oh yeah, that one. It's hard to beat that. I would say, as you all enter the Temple of Ijin, of course, I think I deleted this one, so I don't think I'm going to show you anything. As you all enter the Temple of Ijin, you're going to see the kobolds are still in the process of entering. They are doing the exact same thing that you all, where most of them are kind of walking across into that left side and just sort of directly down the left side of the path. Um, you'll see a few at the actual entrance still as you kind of wind around that corner. I think as far as things go, it's probably going to be as simple as um, kind of like a pratfall kind of thing where Jarek, you are going to like catch your ankle inside of one of these vines and kind of stumble forward. Um, the kind of thing that is unpredictable and sadly at the worst time possible. But you guys are basically going to see like two kobolds still right at the entrance who are kind of sweeping up those entry tiles. The others are kind of walking in along that left side, and you're just going to like stumble as they all kind of look back towards you with a little bit of shock on their face. What are your initial thoughts as you're basically staring down these kobolds?
So Jarek is, trying to essentially kind of right himself after tripping, trying to make it seem like it, you know, no big deal. But he's gonna kind of stand up and try to like give like kind of a stern look towards them, and he's gonna be. I think he's gonna just ask, Doctor, I'll send you.
You're just trying to be like casually asking a question. Are you trying to be intimidating?
Not really trying to intimidate yet.
So yeah, I think all you're going to get at first is just one of these kobolds. Did we lose you, Chris? One of these kobolds is going to kind of look back towards you. It's going to look back in towards the other kobolds, and then he's going to look back towards you. And the silence just kind of like sits in the air for a moment before you see like the slightest nod up and down from its head.
Yeah, and I'm still here, just quiet.
So that Jarek will at the nod, he's going to kind of step forward towards this one. Um, and then I think he's going to ask, been to any of the others yet? Trying to like kind of somewhat quietly, just directing it towards this one. Obviously, not really. Stealth is not an option anymore, but still almost essentially trying to kind of pretend that it's they belong here too. I get to some extent, like trying to give off this impression that they're not really just I don't know, hard to describe.
Like, is it trying to be deceptive?
Yeah,
I
almost
feel
kind
like
of
that's
like
kind of what you're getting at.
we know Karkaral too, and like he sent us to like Nye or something, trying to exude maybe some like kind of air of authority where we belong here. So yeah, deceptive.
Gotcha. So you can throw that. Throw a deception check in here. It's just going to kind of slowly shake its head back and forth, right to left. Still kind of staring at you like slack jaw, like a little bit stunned. In the next few moments, it might like look back towards the others still, but this is like very much kind of like a prey animal, like staring into bright lights. It doesn't know quite what to do.
Not here to hurt you. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Mind stepping outside with us for a moment?
Gil just kind of reach down a little bit with like it's got like a little hand broom in its hand and kind of sweep like a little bit of dirt back like out from inside of the temple kind of look back up to you and like look back before it'll set down the little broom and step away from the door. You can still see it's like very meekly like kind of stepping away at present.
So Jarek will try to kind of like guiding it outside, kind of, not trying to be, or not pushing it, but kind of maybe like a hand kind of, at its back. Might try and kind of like bring the kobold's attention to Zaps, thinking maybe, if he sees another kobold, maybe it'll relax a little bit. But he will, kind of as he's doing this, he wants to wait and see it, see if like Taryn has any other questions, but essentially wants to get it kind of outside, maybe, um, and then maybe like down the steps if it'll go that far with them.
I mean, at present, as far as things go, yeah, it's following you. You've accomplished at least enough of that. What are you guys thinking here beyond?
Uh, so yeah, so once they're outside, Jarek will kind of look towards it and um, kind of maybe like interpose himself between like on the other side, so that he's now between the kobold and the temple entrance. And um, I think at this point he's gonna like kind of hold a finger up to his lips, like be quiet, kind of like a symbol, uh, kind of hoping it gets the message. And he's going to say, um, so you're just a cleaning crew. You such a giving up the facade, essentially. Um, Jarek, like me, did not exactly think this through.
So, I think in that bit of time, you'll have a little bit of kind of a shocked reaction to seeing Zaps. Um, I think it will respond in Draconic to seeing Zaps and probably say something along the lines of questioning like who he is, asking if he belongs with them, if you belong to them, speaking about you guys, kind of like a little bit of very like short, like one or two question or one or two word kind of questions. Little bit more perplexed about Zaps being there with you guys. Um, Still kind of meekly between you all. And over like this process, when you ask it, um, like about being like a cleaning crew, it'll respond to that kind of along the lines of, kind of, I think its first inclination would be, you know what we do. Um, but obviously he would be able to translate those things to you guys to actually figure out. But this thing can vaguely understand you, but it is essentially speaking in Draconic to Zaps.
So, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Zaps would try to kind of deceive, as like, well, yeah, I know what you do. I know what we do, but in trying to explain to my friends, they're a little slow. Do a better job, kind of thing. Taryn, if you have any ideas.
Not right now. I mean, I'm fine with the Saps thing that he's trying like put him to explain it to us.
You could roll another deception with Zaps.
I can do that. Just gonna see deception.
So, in a fashion, it's going to kind of just respond basically to the effect of like, care for the temple, keep the trap set, do as Kokoro orders. You do as Kokoro orders. Keep the temple, keep the traps.
Would any of you ever take or what does Karkaral tell you to do with the cubes? Jarek will ask that, and we'll kind of let Zaps translate it into Draconic.
Roll a religion check for me, Jarek. Did that come through? I don't know if okay, perfect. You are going to see kind of like a deathly horror kind of cross this kobold's face as Zaps translates it back to it. As far as this goes, this is a recognition from you that this is beyond comprehension of what this kobold would do. Um, and it just kind of like looks back to Zaps and simply like says no. But it can kind of see through. It's looking at Zaps differently.
Where would we find this? Where would we find Karkaral? We need to speak.
Um,
And sorry, that is Jarek asking.
yeah, I gotcha. I think this time it's gonna start running back towards the temple.
Taryn will just pipe up.
Jarek,
Was it something we said, or what?
Jarek's gonna reach out, try to grab it as it goes, if he can.
You can make a grapple check, strength athletics. You can grab it.
And Jarek's gonna try and say like the test question about the cube. Passed. Say nothing to the others. And then gonna kind of like glance back towards Taryn and the others, see like, do I let him go now after I say this? And maybe have Zaps translate it. Kind of looking back to see whether they think he should let him go.
As you kind of grab it and pull it in to say this to it, it's already starting to let out a scream.
I think at that point, Jarek is just going to kind of give a curse and let it go. Look back to the others. Perhaps we should.
I'm sorry, did you say something after? Perhaps we should. So you cut out for me.
Oh no, sorry. That yeah, I stopped. Like maybe, and then he would kind of like jerk his head, like kind of like perhaps we should, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Make ourselves scarce. I don't feel like we're welcome anymore.
Uh,
Yeah, Jarek. So
Go ahead.
he's released the co. Sorry, he's released the kobold at this point as it starts screaming.
With like that initial recognition, like just kind of looking at each other that you guys are ready to book it. What is your initial thought as you run? Are you kind of just running back to where you were resting for the night? Are you going to run to an unexplored building? Are you going to try to? What are you all thinking here as you're making your escape?
Jarek doesn't think the kobolds are too likely to follow us themselves. Um, Essentially, just wants to maybe thinking if we can at least like if we can get back out of sight, maybe they'll just um, get back to their business. So he's thinking maybe we um, kind of press on back to that alley and then start maybe trying to cut our way south a bit, like through the clear up a little bit of a path down south, like through the alley or the between the highway and the temple, but like on towards like the building south of it.
All right, so you're thinking about clearing south. Taryn, are you kind of on board for that, like redeploying?
Yeah, Terran will probably he's on board with redeployment, but he's actually going to suggest, well, how about we just go north to the one apartment that we cleared up to the north behind the temple. We don't have to clear a path.
Jericho's not at that. He's fine with that plan instead.
All right, assuming you all are kind of breaking out of the like the walled section of this temple, do you think you are going to you've probably gone on the west side of the temple and run up that way to the other one? Like where you've already cleared basically is how you'll flee?
Yeah, I think that makes yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, a few moments of your time, you all can exit this situation. By the time you get to that next clearing, basically where I still have the Echo token there, you guys can take at least like a moment to gain a sense that there's nobody directly following you. And if you would like try to duck into that building, hopefully, I would assume unseen, but you guys can go ahead and do that. Let me have, I think Justin roll a D100. And what were you thinking? My apologies.
Oh, I would just think maybe once we get into the building, try and find a you know one of the cleaner or I don't know what I was thinking. Never mind. Disregard.
Yeah, I mean, as far as things works out, you guys can certainly take the time to look for one of them that looks a little bit better, and more homely. As with all things here, there's still some level of vines are growing through any room, but I'd say, yeah, you guys can find a location maybe closer to the northwestern side that's a little bit less damp than the ones that are like kind of on the southeastern side. Little things like that to make it at least feel like a little bit homelier of a space. When you sit down to rest, would you? Are we going forth with a fire, or are you guys going through darkness and just kind of listening for threats?
Jarish can suggest perhaps, given what's already happened, we try and not risk a fire for the rest of the night.
Gotcha. Jarek, you will be the next watch. I think that was your
I think
first
that
watch
happened.
that happened.
Yep, on the first watch.
And then you are going to be getting zaps up. Your watch is going to go by from there pretty simply and quietly. Rain is almost non-existent at this point. There's occasional little drips, but yeah, I think you'd be ready to wake up zaps pretty quickly.
Yeah, Jarek spends most of his watch being like playing over that encounter in his head and being like, I could have done that better. But yeah, he'll go and wake up Zaps for third watch.
Reception from Saps.
Zaps is going to have a pretty calm watch. Most of the night is going to, or most of this first good bit is going to be covered in like the loud ring of rain, as the building just kind of constantly has like drips to it. Everything sounds fine and normal. There's occasional kind of like scratches where you're just like, I think that's a vine in the wind. A little bit of an eerie kind of feel goes across you, but otherwise than that, his time's going to pass here, and let's do the second from Zeps. This one's going to be the same. Like at this point, like torrential downpours. Time's going to go by. Let's go for a watch from Terran. And like, not all nights are crazy. Rain's going to keep at like torrential levels. Very little's going to happen other than just jungle sounds. And towards morning, it's going to give way. The rain's going to kind of calm for the first little bit. And Taryn would probably see the first signs of dawn's light, basically over kind of the haze of the rainfall of the night. You all would probably be in like dripping wet kind of conditions here, but the rain's going to give way once you step outside. What sort of thoughts do you all have as you take to this new day? Flame Rule the 28th.
The Jarek's kind of, as he gets up, turning to Taryn and the others, like, who do you think this Karkaral is?
I have no clue, but they seem pretty scared of him, at least. Or not following his orders.
I thought that kobold was going to faint when I mentioned the cube. So seems like at least it's probably not them that took the one from Jin's temple. Probably should have thought to ask they'd seen anyone else lurking about, but suppose we should not much for it, but to try and resume our search for the next one.
My bad. I muted myself when I asked. Can I have intelligence checks from you guys?
Do you need them from Island and Zaps or no?
No, no, that's more generically. To give them just a roll. I think Taryn has a clear enough idea that that fear seems a little bit beyond. Um, Maybe Taryn and Zaps have at least a suspicion kind of thing. Karkaral and what put the fear of God in that kobold are two different.
I'm sorry, you cut out a bit for me there. So cockerel and what?
I think he was saying.
Karkaral,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Karkaral and like what put the fear of God in that kobold are two different things.
Okay, thank you.
Like you guys don't have a definitive proof of that, but Jarek very much recognized that creature was afraid. And Zaps can very clearly know, like you guys are talking about, a kobold name, or at least a draconic name. So you're looking at something. Either these kobolds actually have like a dragon here, um, and they're talking about it a little bit casually when they talk about Karkaral, or perhaps there is a dragon that is like giving those examples, but then it would be like maybe even beyond like an ancient dragon. It would be something pretty epic to be that fearsome to this creature. Um, yeah, I feel like you guys can kind of sit with that with a little bit of a.
Well, at least we have some idea of what they're doing, setting the traps and such.
I'm kind of curious how long they've been doing that for. If it's a recent thing or if they've been doing that for years, maybe even.
I imagine they're probably doing it uh, to maybe protect the cubes, or simply it's something worships these trickster gods and wants to keep the temple somewhat tended. I don't know.
Roll a history, Jarek. I don't think it would be any different, but you could also do a religion. Is there a different modifier on your religion check?
Nope, same.
Gotcha. Um, you did not notice any symbolism on the kobolds. They didn't have symbols for gods, for tricksters. They seem pretty austere.
Hmm. Suggest maybe. Oh. But it also, yeah, it seems like also now that I think about it, most people seems these trickster gods are always at war with each other, so it would be odd for the same group to be tending all the different temples if they were associated with one of the gods in particular. Have to think on that. Rick would say. But Taryn, you think we should see if we can find that building you noticed to the southwest?
Yeah, I mean, if we just go back what we cleared to the west and just go straight south from there, I think we should be able to get it. See if that's another temple or it's just another large building.
Let me have a survival check from the two of you here. So you all can clear a little path here down to the south. You see a couple of large buildings that are sunk into the water. Um, None of them seem to be like the exact fit of what you would expect out of one of these temples, but they are the right size as far as what you're looking for. Eventually, you get close enough to the south that you can start to see the building that Taryn had noticed the day before off to the west of you, still a little bit south. Um, yeah, I think you would still be a ways away. I think Taryn would have a pretty solid idea that you have probably another 20 or so minutes of clearing to get to the next set of stairs that he was able to spot. Or you all could kind of start to like climb down the wall and kind of cut across buildings to make your way towards the next potential place.
What do you think, Taryn?
I mean, I feel like we should just keep going. We did
To
see,
the
yeah, like keep going south the stairs though. Let's see. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. If that is the thoughts, let me get another round of survivals for me there. Oh man, did I just say, Jarek? Can you roll a D100? My bad. I think I had myself muted that whole time. Um, you guys would make it like just up to the building where you can kind of confirm that it's the size like that you expect from it, but not able to tell enough to know whether it is a temple. I was trying to say you would have to investigate further there, and I think I was muted for all of that.
Yeah, I didn't. That didn't come through on my end.
Yeah. It's because I'm still used to pressing push to talk, so I'm like holding it the entire time while I'm muted. Releasing it, and then I hear it, and it's like, oh, I just unmuted myself. Um, so yeah, with this one, you guys are gonna go through this area and find out that it is indeed not a temple, as you have to like kind of cut through the entryway. You're walking into a very similar kind of like structured building, as far as like the opening, but you very quickly are finding yourself already beneath a roof, even if it is being kind of consumed by these vines. You're not in like the atrium that you've come to expect from these temples. um, you're going to quickly spot that there are some veggie pygmies kind of like cowering inside of this building. They are kind of like defensive animals where they're like staring at you. They're all kind of forced back into a corner, but they otherwise seem to be kind of like holding back with like little like stick weapons and spears and things like ready to fight, but still coward. What sort of thoughts do you all have as you encounter some more of these pygmies?
I think Jarek is going to kind of hold up his hands and in a hopefully, you know, a non-threatening gesture. He's going to kind of maybe like turn back towards Eku. 'Cause she's the only one who can communicate with them, and then just say like, uh, "No harm, friends," uh, and then kind of like step back a little bit, kind of trying to show that doesn't he's not here to hurt them.
Did I just do it again? Did you hear any of that description? Nope. Son
Unfortunately,
of a
no.
bitch. They calm down when Eku says that. They don't get like very like open and like comfortable with you. They're still kind of like cowered back, but they are not like hostile. They're not holding their weapons up anymore. You do see that like initial kind of like comforted factor, but they still kind of look like almost like creatures that are playing host to things that they don't expect. But there's like that certain level of comfort from Eku.
Yeah, Jarek's gonna glance back towards Taryn and kind of again, kind of like jerk his head a bit back towards the entrance, suggesting maybe we just leave them be.
Yeah, Terran is completely on board with that. And they don't seem to be directly harmful right now, so they haven't really been before either, except for that poor Grong that almost got through up the cliff, but otherwise, pretty much harmless.
Yeah, if they decide they want to try and sacrifice us, different story, but no need to disturb them otherwise.
It's only
Which
a matter of time. Oh wait, did you guys hear that?
that I heard the ominous, yeah, cackling. Yep, I heard that.
That one was on purpose. Yeah, the Veggie Pygmies are not currently that brave against you all, nor is your size. Zaps may find himself far more in danger of such things than anyone else, as far as things go. But you all have kind of cleared that path. There's a bunch of little buildings in this area to the south of you. This is about the extent of the distance that Tyrion was able to see the day before. But you know that there is still more of the city to the south of this area. But it's kind of like beyond his sight what he would have seen on like the west side of that highway. And then you guys also have other structures kind of on the east side between the river. Do you want to progress south back up on that highway system? Do you want to try to just go south where you guys are?
Jarek would probably suggest we go back onto the highway and clear our way south on that.
Gotcha. If you guys are gonna go for that, let's get a couple of survivals. So I would say that can get you basically down to the next kind of stair. As far as what you all have perspective of during that kind of movement here is you've probably seen a few structures off to the west that might be the right size, um, and probably about 4 structures off to the east that might be the right size. And then there's probably even more southeast. And then to the southwest, you can see probably the potentials for another temple. But I think it would probably stick out, at least at this point, that there's a larger walled section perhaps to the southwest. What sort of thoughts do you all have from this stare?
I think maybe we try to make our way for that larger walled section. You think, Taryn?
Yeah, that was the one to the southwest, right? Just so I'm not thinking wrong. But Archibald one was southwest.
Yep, southwest is that location. Yep.
Yeah, I'm on board with that because I mean a large walled off something that's at least worth looking at.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's get another. Let me start here with like your first strategy. If you are still on top of those stairs, essentially the walled section will be to your west, so you're probably going down the western stairs. That wall continues up next to this little kind of highway, and it also curves to the west along the north side of this area. If you were to go down those stairs, if I can put that much into you guys, like, would you go along the eastern side? Do you want to go along the northern side? What kind of initial thoughts do you all have with like how to approach it? Approach it.
Well, I'm thinking the entrance, or if there's an entrance within this wall, is probably not on the between the highway and western side. So Jarek would probably suggest we go kind of west uh, and then presumably
Looking
counterclockwise.
along the northern. Oh, my bad. Looking along the northern side of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Does that sound good to you, Taryn?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Gotcha. Let me have here another survival for you. Was that 9 from this roll, Taryn?
Yeah, that is the latest roll.
Excellent. As you all pass around this section, you're going to be clearing part of this area, finding more and more of this wall as it continues to extend out towards the west, as you're basically following it away from this kind of highway system and towards the actual walls of this kind of like drop in Omu from the surface jungle. As far as what you end up clearing, you're going to see signs of places where it would be easier to climb and to be able to make your way in, but nowhere where the wall has entirely failed that you could just kind of walk in. It's all going to be different places where you all will have to basically climb to make your way inside of. Otherwise, yeah, I think you'll basically find the western end of this before you see any sort of entrance along this north side.
Jarek figures her. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
If I can, let me actually hear that before I go on. My bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say, the Jarek is figuring there has to be an entrance somewhere. So essentially, he's thinking we just, turn south now and try and uh, keep clearing rather
Gotcha.
than trying to climb over.
Let me have you both roll perception checks, please. All right. At some point, while you are clearing this path, and you're starting to plot and plan this idea to move along, that maybe to follow along the south side, you will find an entrance. Taryn, you are going to at least spot a little bit that there is a human who is inside of this place. On the inside of it, you spot a humanoid.
Humanoid. Can I tell like anything else? Clothes, anything that sticks out to see if it's whatever it is?
At this point, you're looking at somebody from far away through a lot of jungle. I'd say, other than the fact that you can see that there's a human, there's not a whole lot of details to pick up here. Um, you can see that it's an older man, maybe 40s. Um, Probably not from Chult, as they don't have dark skin. Um, Kind of wearing pretty pauper like rags. Might be leather, it might be woven. It's definitely not nice clothing. Um, it's hard to say you're gonna see a lot about this person though from here. Like this, you're still looking. What is that, like 100 feet through jungle to even spot them towards kind of the center of this area.
All right, I can understand not seeing much from 100 feet of jungle, so yeah. Well, I'm gonna point him out to Yarrick at least. You see that? Or him?
Perhaps my eyes aren't as good as yours, but should we
My bad. This was meant to be more of an experiment or an experience of, you now know this place is occupied more than that you have anything else to learn here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically Jarek was gonna ask, like, should we keep going trying to find the entrance, or do you think we need to be trying to be quicker and find a place to possibly climb the wall
I
now that
think
we
we
know
should.
someone's here?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should still look for the entrance, but yeah, maybe we can see if we can talk to whoever that is, or catch them if they're the ones taking the cubes. Either way, we're probably gonna get out through the entrance. Well, I mean, say probably, but still.
Seems reasonable. Keep an eye out. Give me a shout if you see anyone else. But otherwise, Jarek will kind of resume trying to clear.
Gotcha. Continuing around the south side.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Damn it. Continuing south along the western side.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Oh my god, this is killing me. I miss push to talk. Um, so let's get another round of survivals from you. Alrighty. As you are clearing down this side, between yourselves and the walls of the jungle beyond, to the west, you all are going to find this side does not have an entrance. In similar fashions, there are places that you could certainly climb and make your entrance, but there is no actual entryway along this western side. But you do spot that there is a building off to the west of you, um, fitting most of the criteria for what you would expect a temple to be. Long, rectangular kind of jungle growth that seems to pass north to south along at least high walls, if not like a high roof.
What do you think, Taryn?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that the walls we're currently clearing around is the temple. It seems kind of too big. The other temples haven't been all this large at least. So yeah, I think we should try the western one.
Curious about the spell you spotted, but agreed.
Yeah, hopefully you might see him after searching for whatever that's west of us is. It's not there, then well, keep an eye out for him.
I feel like this is gonna mess up when I let go of it. When you guys are good, let me get another survival from you here. The problem with not having push to talk is I'm finding I'm just leaving the microphone open. Yeah. So when you are clearing off towards the west, you're very quickly going to clear enough of the jungle to see that this place is at least a little bit different. You do see signs from kind of inside of this almost like canopy, where you're looking at what appears to be a small walled section, um, that you can, I think, close enough to see. You can see that there are frogs like atop like these central little pillars, um, to the northwest of you. And then to the southwest of you, you can see that there is a large open pool, um, that is kind of just to the south of those frogs.
This could be Kubazons. That's the froghemoth.
I think that was it. But yeah, it kind of looks like it with the frogs. But yeah,
Seem
look.
similar to the other pillars we've spotted.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly fits the theme. Theme.
Jarek will start trying to make his way towards the pillars northwest.
Gotcha. So you can start to approach. and you're kind of right between this wall and a drop off into this pool of murky water to the south of you. As you're approaching, you do indeed see that the walls of this location to the north of you are lined and have froghemoths sitting atop the pillars themselves. You can also see to the south, this pond also has pillars that flank it to the south, as well as a central stone statue in the center of the pool of water.
Sorry, do you mind if I take a quick 5-minute break?
Not a problem in the least bit.
Thanks. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, welcome back.
All good. So yeah, you guys are basically like walking into kind of the central area here. Right now, I think you're kind of right between that wall and the pool to your south. Again, you're kind of about like it's pretty narrow. It's probably about 5 foot down towards the water. You can see that there are more of these um, pillars with froghemoths on them to the south of the lake. And you can see to the north of you, there is a stone structure of this temple that has a locked gate in front of you. And at the center of the pool, there is a stone statue of a frog, as well as a few like wooden structures. I would hesitate to call them bridges over the water, but there are wooden structures that appear to be floating on top of the water.
So Jarek would like to take a look at these pillars, seeing if he can find any Oldham as they've found on some of the others.
Roll a perception check here.
And he'd probably kind of I guess like in keeping, like maybe he would probably look at one, have Island look at the other, since Island can translate. But Jared, looks like you're muted if you're talking.
No, you're good. I was looking for something there. Yeah, I would say looking over the pillars, you all are not going to spot any signs on that group that you are next to, at least, of any of the cuneiform of Oldham Allen. Above the lintel, like beyond the actual locked gate to the north of you here, you can spot signs of it. You could not yet make it out from this distance.
So Jarek, I think, is going to want to try and get a closer look. So I think he's going to start approaching the lintel, the gate.
Alrighty. As you step inside the pillars, the sword is going to yell out to you from the rear. Terran, you are going to see as a massive frog is leaping out of the water, and we are going to enter combat. Oh man, did that come out? Yeah, you guys heard me say we're entering combat and describe the frog.
Yep, I heard it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
God. I'm driving myself insane.
Do you want us to roll initiative for Aiden and Saps too?
Yes, please. I was actually trying to figure out if you guys had two up there because oh, you guys only have one up there. Why do I see two? I see Taryn, Zaps, Taryn, and Jarek right now. That is fucking crazy. There's a 16 from Taryn and a 2 from Zaps up on mine. Deleted them. Everything's still there for you guys. Excellent.
Yeah, that's a 5 for Saps.
Yeah, I can't seem to actually click on Island's token on the thing, but he got a 15.
Yeah, and the same that I can't click on Saps, and I can't change so he has rested either, so he's still damaged from for the rest and everything.
If you reload Zaps, you should have the long rest version. And I'm about to do the same for Island. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you heard me say reload Zaps, but if you reload Island, I just long rested both of them.
Yeah, I heard reload Saps, and I can see that he.
Okay, yep.
I'm, I'm killing myself here. I don't think I could use this version of Linux if this is going to be the cost. It sounds like they did all of this because they don't want keyloggers to be able to pick up the information. But I'm like, this is a basic function of what Discord does. How can people use this? It's trash. Alrighty then. I God, it's working. Oh, wait, that wasn't it. There we go. Gotcha. So this massive frog-like creature with crazy big tentacles is going to leap out of the water as you hear this warning come from your sword. Jarek, you. Oh, I still didn't add the other two. But Jarek, you are going to be the first in this combat. What would you like to do?
So Jarek is like shouting out behind us, like not even as he's turning to actually see what it is from the sword, and he sees this thing leaping out of the water. He is uh, slashing out at it with the uh, uh, his blade in the form of a cutlass.
Uh, Solid, yes, excellent. Solid strike with it. Next attack. That one is going to just kind of reflect off of kind of a frogs don't have scales. Like a mucus membrane, kind of like just like glancing off of like this gooey slickness to the frog.
Yeah, and as he's also drawing his if he had that, I guess if he had that one out, Can he draw an attack with the short sword?
Yeah, that's fine.
So he'll do that.
That as well, kind of getting caught up in mucous membrane, and deflecting. Yeah, so the first attack is going to be the one that sinks in
Yeah, and he is
for 8.
and he's I think if Terran's next to it. Yeah.
Maneuver. That's going to give Terran advantage.
No, I think that would be sneak attack unless it's already added. Was it already added?
Isn't that your distracting strike? Oh, that's your sneak attack. Yeah. Okay, I've got what you're doing. Yes, 100%. You do get the sneak attack on that for a total of 13.
Yep. I think yeah, and he's gonna hold his ground there. So that's his turn.
Excellent. With that, it is going to turn to you, Taryn. You are right beside Jarek as this thing leaps out. What is your course of action?
Well, Taron would. I mean, first it would probably summon his dagger because I don't think they would have been out, seeing as we were. I mean, no, they probably would have been out. I'm just gonna attack him. I'm thinking too much.
First hit will sink in. What is that? 24 damage, and then your second strike. Gonna drop in for 3 more. So 27.
Yeah, and then that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna stay where I am.
Gotcha. So as it is leaping out here, it is going to, I think, bite out for Jarek. It's going to get a solid purchase on you. And oh man. Let's see. It is going to deal 23 piercing damage as it bites down on you, Jarek. And as it bites down on you, it's going to lean its head back, open up its mouth, and Jarek's going to disappear within the gullet of this creature. And then it is going to whip a tentacle out at, let's see, that's going to be Island. No, that one's at Zaps, and then this one is at Island. So Zaps, and then Island. Each of those tentacles should hit. Island's AC is 14. Yeah, that's a 17.
Yep.
That should hit all of you.
Yeah, 14.
So it is going to do, the first one is to Zaps. Second one is to Island. It is going to do 23 points of bludgeoning damage to Zaps, and he is grappled. And then it is going to deal 14 points of bludgeoning damage to Island, and then Island is grappled. Let's get a little bit closer to get Zaps there. And then right now, Taryn, you're the only person that's not attacked this turn. It is going to lick you with its tongue. I need you to make a Strength saving throw, please. Oh, that's no fun. I should have done a lot of different things with that. Yeah, it already moved into that space, but it's going to basically pull you closer to it. That was a mistake. I should have planned that out a little bit better for the attacks. But it is going to go to Island from here. He is grappled and restrained. No, not restrained. Just grappled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't put the damage on Zaps, so
Gotcha.
it's
Do you
turn.
remember what I said? Zaps was the one who took, what was it, 23?
23? Yeah. Oh, it was.
Yep, and
I thought
Island
23.
took 14.
Yeah, because the big hit was Zaps.
So I think Island is going to. I feel like Guiding Bolt is kind of his go-to in these situations. I think he's going to cast that. But at second level.
Did that burn the spell slot when you did it?
No, and I can't manually mark it off.
Gotcha. That is going to hit for 17 more damage. I don't think he's got a bonus action for when he does a guiding bolt, but he's got no movement. I think that's the end of your turn.
Yeah, I don't think he can do anything else.
What would you like to do with Zaps? Did I just mute myself for that? I went to push to talk. What would you like to do with Zaps?
Yeah, I'm trying to look what he can do.
So I think he's got his cannon that he can shoot as a bonus action. And I think one of those attacks, it's basically just like using a cantrip plus a D8 like extra damage. So you could do like Firebolt or Ray of Frost plus an extra D8 like through his cannon. Um or you can use some of his bigger spells, but I think the cannon thing is one of his like cantrip go-tos. Like it's once a turn. He's just a little bit more powerful when he uses that kind of thing.
So it was, what was it, one extra 1d8? Or um,
Oh, he has multiple different cannons that he has to decide at the start of the day. I'd say he's been doing the flamethrower cannon. He can switch those during the day, but I would say we just kind of go forward with that one. So if you if you sink a spell into the cannon, God, this is where I wish like I'm vaguely sure about characters, but I don't know. Um, I think you can cast like Firebolt, and it does 2d8 extra damage when it is sent through the cannon. Oh no, it's just a save DC. Yeah, I don't know enough about his character. I'm very sorry about that.
oh, I was looking through his features and traits, and
The
it's
arcane firearm is
yeah,
the extra d8.
yeah, and it's just a 1d8.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The flame cannon is, yeah, okay, that's the bonus action. So that's what it is. You can shoot off the flamethrower as a bonus action. That is a spell save DC versus 2d8 fire damage. And then you can use Arcane Firearm
To get an
to
extra 1d8.
cast, yeah, on his cantrip.
Yeah, so he's gonna go, just because I can, Ray of Frost on the Froghemoth with the cannon. Well, not the cannon, but the firearm thing. Extra 1d8. Let's see.
That should have advantage from the guiding bolt.
Yeah. So that's going to hit. Roll another d8, and I think that's going to be plus one more, so that's going to be for 13 damage. Oh, and that guiding bolt should have been for one more. So and then you can use your bonus action to shoot the flamethrower, which is 2d8 damage, versus a
Yeah.
dexterity save that will fail. So it will burn for crash course in learning other people's characters.
Yeah, kind of fun. Never seen an artificer before, so I have no clue how this works.
Got someone playing a mystic in one of my other games, and that it seems also just wildly complicated.
It's definitely very frustrating that they thought, hey, why don't we create magic, but like a whole second kind of magic that operates differently than magic in this game that's focused around magic.
Oh, just thought, are we in direct sunlight? Because of Saps? Yeah.
No, I said you're underneath the canopy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Thanks.
This is why I hate races like that. He has advantage and disadvantage from you guys as well, with Peck Tactics. Um,
Alright, he has that also. Yeah.
yeah, I love
100.
humans. Humans. Also, I like people who choose humans. I'm a big fan of humans. So yeah, Jarek, you are watching as the kind of glow dissipates from this creature as Zats shoots these kind of like cold like zats into it, and the creature starts to slow a little bit. You can see the flame of his torch like light across the ass end of this creature. Oh wait, no, you don't see any of that. You're inside of this creature. You can
Yeah,
hear it. You can feel some of this stuff happening around you. Hot and cold sensations. You can also feel the burning of acid all around your flesh. What are you trying to do inside of there, Jarek?
yeah. Jarek's like panicking. He's like, no, 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 no. It's like the kind of the darkness envelops and it gets swallowed, and he's just stabbing out blindly. Um,
All right, so you are blinded and restrained. So yours is at disadvantage here to make these attacks,
right.
which is very interesting that you can't get a sneak attack while you are inside of a creature. Solid hit. The second one was solid hit as well. You've got your sword already in your offhand.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna second wind here for his bonus. Right, like a surge of adrenaline as he's like panicking from being swallowed, but also like all his thoughts are like, gotta get out of this thing.
Gotcha. So yeah, you can roll those hit points. There's going to be like a clenching around you, as you're like stabbing into this creature's like stomach. You'll kind of hear like the start of like a retching, and then like the muscles just clench down even tighter around you, and it maintains, but it almost exited you from its stomach. Taryn, what would you like to do, having seen Jarek be consumed? You yourself are wrapped up in its tongue. But that actually has no other effects because I dragged you right where you already were. What would you like to do?
Oh, Terran, but also a bit panicky from seeing Jarek just be swallowed. He's gonna lash out with basically all he's got, try to get this thing down so we can get
My bad. I
Jarek.
think it would make sense that you probably saw Jarek's blade like sliding like out of this thing's stomach as he's stabbing. Was that a slashing weapon? I don't like the idea of the slashing weapon. Maybe you see like a few points where it stabs out from within. This creature is at this point bloody.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do the same. Just attack it. Try to take it down as fast as possible so we can get Jarek out.
I had to clarify that myself, Justin, just to make sure when it was happening.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't, just in case, like I would have something would have
Yeah,
happened.
the way they have it set up, often that's one of those things that triggers on your turn. The way they have it set up, I think because this thing does so much when it bites down on you, that you can only take damage from it like once an actual rotation. Um, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks.
First attack from Terran. You are going to get caught up in that same kind of mucus membrane that surrounds this creature. With the second one, with a little bit more preparation, you do get your blade through, and you will sink in for 19. Anything else from Terran right now?
No, he's gonna stay where he is because, well, don't really
Gotcha.
think we can get away from it either way.
So at this one, we are going to do acid damage to Jarek. So you will take 12 acid damage as your flesh kind of burns inside of this creature. It is going to. Let's see. Adobe Island. So it is going to pull Island in with his tongue. I need a strength saving throw from Island. Yeah, so it's going to pull Island up to it. And then it is going to bite down on Island. A 21, it will indeed bite down and consume Island as well. It's going to deal 21 piercing damage to him. So I will add that damage. Nobody's really going to see it, but Island is definitely severely wounded. And then it is going to wrap a tentacle around the other two. So, one around Terran. 13, that might actually be a miss. I
Yeah,
think that is. And
I
then
have
one
15.
around Zaps. Oh no, this is not good. That is
Oh
going to
no.
do 68 plus 6. Rolled low. So 17, 24. He is not at high enough. Um,
Oh, he's knocked unconscious at least.
yeah, and you can't make a crit fail. So yeah, that's going to drop him unconscious. And he is grappled. And that's going to wrap around to Island. is inside of it right now. Who's currently playing Island? What would you like to do?
And I think Island, now that he's swallowed, is going to try and essentially reach out. He's going to cast Inflict Wounds, essentially trying to like blow this thing out from the inside.
God, that's a roll to hit too, right?
Yeah, it's
How do you miss with inflict wounds when you are inside of a creature? I guess that's failing to cast the spell. Let's see that spell attack. It is at disadvantage. You are blind and restrained.
yeah. I don't see where how much inspiration, if any, he has, but he might use none of this.
Um, I've got you.
Although
I've got
maybe,
Island on 6 inspiration.
although maybe I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't, since his Larry's not actually here.
Do you want to use your inspiration as Jarek?
Oh, I mean, yeah, we're both swallowed inside, so if I can do that for his attack, yeah, I'll do that.
I mean, this is more because you're playing Island that I would say. I think that probably makes a little bit more sense. That it's like Justin's inspiration. Like, even when you guys have switched characters, I keep the inspiration with you, the player. So,
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So I might use.
gotcha. You have a pretty solid sense of what it takes to hit this creature, the difficulty of these things. So, let's see a spell attack. I think he is at a +8. Does that
Yeah.
include his? Yeah, I think that's including the weapon presently.
He's gonna cast this one at 3rd level.
How much do you think you need to get a hit?
I think I'm gonna use all 5 of mine. Give him a 15.
Gotcha. You can indeed grab onto, I don't know, like the esophagus valve of this creature. I'm not sure what you're going to grab onto. Do you have any idea what you would do inside of the gullet of a frog?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of like.
Like, I know where the gonads are, reaching through the stomach, and I'm pulling.
Yes, it's just some like fleshy fold of something. No idea what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you can definitely grab onto it. 20 points of necrotic. That's his action, so that's gonna be your turn. It is going to start to retch. I think the DC's 20. Yeah, with this one, it is going to expel the two of you from its stomach. As it just retches the two. I think for what we're gonna do on this, we're just gonna throw Island on the north side of it, kind of thing, right now. And we'll go for that's kind of our current situation here. As it vomits the two of you out onto the ground, each of you are prone um, within 10 feet of it. I don't know if there's any reason to say that you have to be expelled further away from it. So yeah, that'll be Island's turn and Zaps. Um, dear Lord.
Death saving throw, right?
Yep. Can you? I think this will be the exchange of like we won't do a whisper here. Just do a death saving throw, please.
Just gonna roll a d20. I can't find it on the.
That's fine. Solid. It is going to progress around from Zaps to Jarek. You are prone on the ground, right beside Island. This creature is severely wounded. You are coated in juices. What you doing?
Jarek is gonna pick up his the Magroli Baunost and just like kind of screaming almost incoherently at this thing as he stands up and just starts yeah, slashing out at it again.
Solid strike. This would be back to where you can sneak attack on that first one. Second one as well will hit. So we've got you for a total of 19 there, bonus action.
Um, Actually, I think like as he's like screaming at it incoherently, he's going to turn one of those into a distracting strike if he can.
Gotcha. That's an extra D8 damage, and it gives the next person advantage, right?
Correct.
So 21 total there.
But I assume he dropped his short sword. He dropped both his blades when he was ejected prone.
No,
right?
no. It doesn't. It does not force you to lose your weapons. You don't have to pick up your weapons to attack there. You've got everything still in hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in that case, then he's gonna he'll stab out with his short sword.
Gotcha. That one is going to miss.
And
Again,
he's like,
that is just sinking into kind of like the sludge, like slimy exoskeleton of this creature.
and he's like screaming, like, "Kill it, kill it, kill it!" Like he is. It's claustrophobia and being swallowed again, and yeah, he is not in a good, not a good mind's place right now.
I kind of feel for Yarrick. He always get the tight spaces with his claustrophobia. He's always the one getting forced into tight spaces.
Dragged underwater by the
Does
crocodile. And
does Jarek feel safe enough that you are not going to, not second wind, but not flurry of blows? Damn it!
oh, I action surge.
Yeah, action search.
You know what? Yeah, I think again, the adrenaline. Yeah. So he will keep slashing out.
Action search is pure adrenaline. Solid strike with that one. That as well will hit,
I think that'll miss.
and that one's going to miss. Yep.
And that's it for him.
With the strikes, as you are cutting across this creature with your action surge attacks there, um, you're just going to start to like lop off massive chunks of flesh. This creature is fatally wounded. Taryn, what would you like to do?
I would like to tag to make sure that it's, well, more than fatally wounded. It's dead. So
I would like to make the fatally wounded a little bit more permanent. The first attack is going to get caught up in the sludge. Your second strike is going to find its way through its carapace. And
And
as you
actually,
sink the dagger. Oh, the first one was with advantage. Gotcha. Touche. Yeah, those two strikes are going to bring this creature down. As this massive chunk of like huge frog that dwarves these frog-like humanoids that you've seen, dwarves most creatures that you've seen around this area. Some of these tentacles are almost as long as like these walls, like 20, 30 feet long, and this creature is going to slowly just kind of like twitch down lower. Um, its body is mostly up on this ground, but it was kind of perched across the pool as well, and just the dead weight of it is slowly kind of pulling the corpse back down into the water. Are you guys going to attempt to do anything before this corpse falls into this pool of water?
I mean, not really. Maybe push it down faster. Don't want to say
Gotcha.
it.
One of my
Derek,
players like created like a new tendency to harvest body parts of things. So I was just checking.
Yeah, Jarek does not want to get any touch that thing ever again.
Jarek has found he's been close enough to this creature as is. Yeah, so just over the next few moments here, these tentacles, like all still kind of loosely and far too close to you guys. This creature is going to just like fall over the edge before it tumbles back into the ground. As far as things go, I don't think there's any risk that Zaps could die in the one turn it takes for you guys to get to him. So it is more a case of um, when you go to Zaps's aid, do you intend to use like the healing function of one of the healing kits? Just give him 1 hit point. I don't think there's any reason not to do the full the big heal from the healing kit. But what sort of ways do you guys want to treat with Zaps at present?
Yeah, I think Jarek will go head over and use his healer's kit. Well, Island will spare the dying, and Jarek just to stabilize him, and Jarek will be administering the healing kit. I think Island's going to be focusing because he's really badly hurt too, so he's going to heal himself up a little bit.
And while they do that, Terran is just gonna look out over the water to see if he can see any more these frog hemots. He does not want to fight another one.
Uh, roll a perception check for me, Taryn. Looking out over the pool does not appear to have any more frog hemots within it. All right, so I am healing Zaps for the 12 and Island for the 21.
Correct.
Does it apply right away? Like Island, I just healed. Does that apply on your screen, or do you have to reload it?
You have to reload it. Okay, so I see him at 29 now.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you reload Zaps, he'll be at 12. Um, so Zaps is still bloodied. Island is looking whole right now, right? Yeah. How are the two of you? How is Taryn and Jarek looking?
Jarek's okay, but I think he's going to after he gets like some of the all the mucus and stuff, he's also going to use that kit on himself as after he tends to Zaps.
Gotcha.
Terran is
Excellent.
looking completely fine, actually. And at most, he has just some mucus left from the tongue.
So yeah, Jarek now looks good, healthy. Not well. Maybe mentally he's having some struggles, but physically he looks okay now.
Sometimes when you pick up a creature's like card, it's poorly written. I feel like it should use its tongue attack and then bite and then tentacles. But it says bite, tentacles, then tongue. Like, so wait, my last attack was like to pull Terran towards me. I just bit something. I could have pulled him towards me and then ate him.
I mean, that would
Uh,
be more logical.
Yeah, it's just silly sometimes how they design stuff. I feel like they like added the tongue in hindsight and never thought about how to structure it, that it should go beforehand. So you all are back looking at the structure, feeling a little bit more whole. What? Actually, let's go for a break here. I'd like to grab a drink. maybe we'll have Larry join us. Maybe not. But let's pick back up at like 5:30, maybe 5:37 is like the full 15.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, sounds fine to me.
Oh,
Hello? Anyone here yet?
Oh, yep, I'm here. Sorry.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad Chase or Zaps didn't die there. Would have been awkward.
Yeah, I mean, would kind of felt horrible just next time goes, oh, and by the way, Saps died.
But yeah, Jarek is gets into a lot of tight spots, given his claustrophobia. I don't think he's ever going to go swimming ever again.
I mean, before this adventure is over, Derek is gonna have a lot of phobias, like claustrophobia, fear of swimming, fear of jungles, fear of everything. The poor man just can't get a break.
But I just knew, like, when I was like, yeah, Jarek's going to walk through the pillars. Then I was thinking, like, at one time we heard like the screaming monkeys, like something bad is probably going to happen here. Saw that writing. It's like, they got to go find out what that says.
Just trying to remember, has there been any other temple that's been actually trapped? Or I mean, we had the temple with the screaming monkeys, but that didn't hurt us exactly more than it was more annoying. We've been attacked by like crocodiles and things, but have they? Has there been anyone that was trapped before?
I don't think just walking through, like, we fought, the Red Wizard and a couple outside of the one. Um, the other one, we had to do that ritual to be allowed inside, right, with the grungs, the Temple of Nang Nang, I think.
Yeah, and like Asian, the temple before this, that's the first one I think was actually trapped. That was like in the temple.
Hey, Larry.
Hey guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Larry.
Uh, I'm sure I won't be very helpful at figuring out whatever it is we're trying to figure out. It sounded like right in the midst of it.
So we found the next temple, um, but as Jarek was going to, he saw some writing, what looked like some writing above the gate to their north, and as he crossed the threshold through the pillars, this giant frog thing came out and attacked us. At one point, he had both Jarek and Island swallowed, but eventually managed to,
Crazy.
um, uh, while we were inside it, Island used an inflict wounds and it retched us out, and then we managed to kind of kill it. Um, but so you have used, just FYI, one second level spell slot and two third level spell slots for that fight.
Okay.
Your hit points should be right because Mara was tracking those. but I wasn't. I had kind of somewhat access to your sheet for the rolls, but I wasn't able to mark off the spell slots. So.
1 second level, 2.
Yeah, that have been used. Yeah.
Cool. It sounds like used very well. Did I show up during break time?
Yeah, we just went on a break actually right after we fought the thing, so it'd be probably starting up pretty soon.
Cool. So Frog attacked us, and then we're standing in front of the temple, thinking about what to do next.
Yeah, there are some more. There are also a pair of pillars south of this pool that we haven't looked at yet. Um, and the entrance north of us to the into the temple appears to be like a locked gate. But aside from Jarek was checking these first two pillars up here north of the pool and didn't see any writing on them, and then but then when he went to walk through them, that's when this thing came out of the water and attacked us.
Yeah, we haven't checked the statue in the middle of the pool either. If that's anything.
Oh, that's not the frog. That's a statue.
Well, I mean, there's a frog there too, but like the stone thing with the mouth underneath it, I think that's a statue.
Oh, so the stone thing underneath that has a mouth on it. Separate thing from the frog thing.
Yeah.
Got it. Frog.
It's a froghemoth with tentacles. And
Froghemoth. Yeah.
and it
Heard
can
of that.
swallow you. It can appear to swallow two people at
Oh yeah, and there are I think statues of froghemoths also on top of the pillars.
Can you say that last part again?
There are statues, I think, of the froghemoths on top of the pillars as well.
Huh.
Yeah, Mara's been having some sound issues, so
MR. Justin, what's the temperature where you are?
about 90-ish.
Crazy. Here too.
I think it's supposed to. I think we're supposed to get some storms tonight that'll cool things off a bit. The last 2 days have been kind of miserable. It's like just the heat. There's like no breeze or anything. The heat just kind of sits there.
Yeah, it's August and May. Not used to that in the Northeast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
What's it like where you are, Chris? I mean, I assume it's much less hot.
I mean, it's been, I'm not sure what it's in Fahrenheit, but 25 degrees Celsius.
Is that warmer than average for this time of year? Because I know Southern Europe's getting like a bad heat wave. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit warmer. It's by this time of year, it's usually only around like 20. So it's not like heat wave warmer. It's more like it's a hotter spring summer thing.
That's what it should be for us. It's like 20 would be like 68 degrees. I think.
Oh, that's, let's see, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 25
Yeah.
Celsius.
You're 77 degrees Fahrenheit when you normally would be like 10 degrees cooler. We're usually 20 degrees cooler than it has been the last 2 days. But it'll calm back down. I think it's global warming.
Hello, Larry.
Hey, Mark. Sorry I'm late. I had a brass band to work thing to do.
You said a brass band?
Yeah, 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, and a singer doing political songs, political songbook.
Not what I expected you to go with that.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was good.
I am not sure how much the guys caught you up since you've been back and I've not had sound. I've been sitting here for now like 10 minutes while I was trying to mess with my speakers there to figure out why I lost sound.
I got my
Oh,
I got my spells updated on my sheet, and I heard about the froghemoths, and I have a decent enough idea of what we're facing. Maybe you could tell me the 3 highlight points that EM's perspective would be great. But I think I kind of caught up.
gotcha. So they've essentially just kind of wandered here. It's probably like still early morning as far as things go. I think you guys have been probably cutting through the jungle for about 2 hours, vaguely at this kind of time frame. Effectively kind of moving. I guess that skips over the nighttime. Did you guys do like a nighttime recap for him? What you did?
No, pretty much just like the battle.
Gotcha. So in the night, they kind of camped out trying to watch to see if the kobolds were coming again. And that was just kind of southwest of the Temple of Ijin. During the third hour of the night, Jarek did have an encounter with the kobolds, brought everybody out, had a little bit of questioning. Basically got a response that they kind of take care of the traps in the temples. And a little bit freaked out at the idea that Jarek would even insinuate that they would steal one of the cubes, or even touch one of the cubes, I should say. Um, Effectively, you all then went to the northern building when things kind of got a little bit weird with the kobolds, and you guys left that place to actually sleep the night away in that little like I think that one was described as like the apartment building to the north of Ishin's temple. That morning, they kind of cleared down to check out the other temple prospect that Taryn had seen the night before. That's the one that's now kind of circled in green. It was filled with a bunch of veggie pygmies, but otherwise seemed to be just like a random building that fits the kind of image. Heading back along the highway system, you all kind of cleared way to where you had a lot of prospects east and west of you, a little bit drawn by a larger walled structure. It's the color. They kind of cleared off to the west of it and started to clear down to the south of it before realizing that there was indeed a place to the west that has effectively been where you guys are at now. In the process of exploring this area to see if it's a shrine, Jarek was kind of leading the way between noticing that there are pillars with the frogs on top to the right of you, to the north of you, closer to this temple. You could see like a locked gate in front of it. And beyond, at like kind of the arch of the door, you could see at the lintel that there was some cuneiform writing, and that kind of drew Jarek's attention. That, but he could also see that there were pillars to the south on the other side of this pool of water that had kind of a frog statue in the center of it. On the other side, you could also see that there were frogs on top of those pillars as well. When Jarek started to approach for a closer look at the cuneiform, his sword warned him and were attacked by something out of the water that would turn out to be this massive monstrosity of a frog with 6 large tentacles, almost 25-30 feet long. We are effectively picking up right at the end of that combat. The only thing that's really progressed is moving over to take care of Zaps, and effectively the froghemoth was in and out of the water. There was a few moments there where everybody had a chance And basically, we decided everybody was clearing out of the way as this thing's massive body slowly scraped back down via gravity and fell back into the water. Other than that, you guys are in this kind of split temple. You've got the water to the south of you with an entrance gateway. You've got an entrance gateway right where you guys are. And then the stone structure of a building to the north of you seems to be locked shut with kind of like a cast iron gate.
Yeah, Jarek is thinking we should check these other two pillars. There's some writing on those.
I'm gonna laugh if two other pillars is having a warning that don't go in because you'll be attacked by a frog hemoth.
And keeping a very close eye on the water, Jarek is going to start kind of circling around to his clockwise here around towards trying to get to this other set of pillars. Take a look.
I'm gonna cast healing on Zaps. He looks like he's in rough shape.
Yeah, he got pretty hurt. Terran is just gonna follow with Jarek.
That twice.
Gotcha. As you make your way around to the other side, these pillars, too, with a closer look at them, they don't seem to have any sort of writing to them. Um, Perhaps there's like fluting decorating like most of these pillars, but as far as things go, nothing seems to be different from these than from any other. Only at this temple that it has four kind of sticks out. But there are froghemoths on top of this. I'd say it's more than likely to see that all of the tentacles have kind of been broken off with time. But I feel like that's kind of what you can pick up. Just more of the same.
So, what do you think? Someone, anyone feel like swimming out and taking a look at that statue?
I mean, I don't really feel like swimming, but
Leaping,
might
maybe, right?
yeah might be able to use those pillars. That well, the stones basically in the water.
Is that a fallen pillar?
Yeah, might be able to use those to jump the statue. See if I jump out to see if there's anything there. Or
It seems weird to me to put a pillar, what it looks like a pillar to me as well, inside of the art here. I would say more that you guys are looking at stones that you could probably run and jump across to make your way to the frog statue in the center.
I'll cover you from here, Taryn.
yeah, you do that, and Tyron will shrug up his backpack and try to jump across.
If you can make a acrobatics check for me, please. So with a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump, you can make your way across and find yourself on top of this frog statue. It's definitely got some like mold and slimy stuff from the pond kind of growing up on it. It's not the nicest bit of a stone that you've ever ascended. But as you do approach it and kind of climb on top, you can see that there is a massive like tongue that's kind of reaching out of this frog. A tongue that you've come to be very familiar with. And this tongue has an engraved section of it that appears to look like a key. My bad. Engraved was the wrong word for that. I'm trying to make it sound like there is a key that is inset into the tongue. I lost the word for it, but you can see that there is a key in the center of this thing's tongue.
Nice work, Taryn.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab the key then.
Oh. Returning the way that you came, it's pretty easy. Let me get an acrobatics from you with advantage if you go backwards. If you want to go the other way, it's a little bit shorter. Be a different check.
Yeah, now I'll go back the way I came.
Gotcha.
Acrobatics with advantage then, or
Yep. Hopefully this doesn't even count as having to roll, but I just want it to be nearly automatic. Yep. So you can hop back up. Jarek's sitting there waiting with a open hand to help you up the ledge, and you can find yourself back up. Little stone key in hand. Uh, what would you like to do?
Well done, Taryn.
thank you. Oh, hopefully this key fits the door. Great, but the locked thing.
One way to find out, I suppose.
There was more uniform that we hadn't translated, or did we translate? I'm kind of blanking out here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you
no,
all
yeah,
go
Jarek
ahead.
hadn't gotten close enough. He was headed that way when the thing attacked us.
When you all go to approach the door where that cuneiform was, the locked gate is basically like the outer edge. Inside, at the actual the lintel of the roof, the arch of the or not of the roof, but the arch of the doorway is where the cuneiform is. When you approach with the key does indeed fit the actual door. While you're already doing that, the others can start to translate. But if you open the door while they're still translating, you can start to make a little survey of this scene where you are going to see that there is an entryway into this little room, a drop off that goes pretty much down and vaguely out of sight. But if you drop something that's actually a light source, you would be able to see that just beyond your sight, there's like a spiked pit to this base of this room. The room around you has boards that kind of stick out of the wall, again, like 30 or 40 feet away above this kind of darkness. And on the opposite side of the room, you can see that there is a pedestal, and on top of it sits a small cube. As the other two are translating the cuneiform, you all can come to understand that. Oh, where'd I put the writing? I know I have it here somewhere. So you guys get to hear all the stupid.
We get to hear all the what?
I was saying, when I'm not on push to talk, you hear all the stupid stuff I say when I'm searching for stuff. I'm like derogatory towards myself. But you guys can translate the cuneiform to say, Kubazan urges us to tread without fear and give back as much as we take.
It's like time for my icon, my token picture. a little bit like this thing floor collapsed. What are the things that are circles again? I didn't hear the word used to describe circles.
Like at the base of this room, it's like a spiked pit.
Okay, so there was like a floor above it, and then the floor has been collapsed, and there's a spike there.
Perhaps.
If I had a frog tongue, I would reach across there, pull that back.
Pretty sure if we were part frog, we could just leap over to it.
I could levitate it back here though. Spell.
That might work.
Wouldn't leave anything as heavy as what we took though.
Oh, you're thinking Indiana Jones in this with.
Yeah, the picture of my token is like, oh, I was hearing that. Yeah.
That's probably it. Oh. Goose and Arians to the That
Jared, what do you
is.
think?
Tread without fear. Perhaps it's not as. Perhaps there's some way forward we don't see.
But like, there's a floor there, we just can't see it. Or we throw some stones out there, we might discover an invisible floor. Temple of Holy Grail bridge.
Take a leap of faith. Just walk out. Taran will be the first to say that he's probably not gonna try that. He's he's okay with being the one jumping over from beams, from the beams over, but he's not gonna be the one to see if there's an invisible floor.
Jarek might suggest like if we grab some, essentially some like dirt or something from outside and just kind of try and scatter it and see if it, if it just falls through or if it, reveals that there's any sort of hidden um hidden thing in front of us or
Roll a perception check for me, Jarek. You take some dirt in your hand, and go to scatter it like it's some dice and you're playing some craps. Flies right down to the ground. Acts exactly as if you threw dirt down 30 feet into a room.
are we able to see down how close together the spikes are?
I would say you guys can spot that there's certainly an irregularity to these spikes. As far as like the picture that like this art uses versus like the description that I have from my knowledge, those spikes are not the spikes that this room has in it. That is a pit of spikes that you do not want to go down. No matter how small you are, this is like some spikes are slanted to the left, some slanted to the right, some vertical, some are going north, some south. This is like um a horrendous amalgamation of spikes.
Gotcha.
What do you guys think happens if levitate the object back to us? If I could do that.
Just wondering what that give back as much as we take. What happens when we don't?
Are you reading Levitate right now, Larry?
I haven't used it before, so I'm not sure I 100% understand it, but I know I could make the cube go up. Then can I, like, if I back away, can I draw it towards us?
Does it say you can?
Yeah, it says you can use your action to move the object.
I thought isn't it just like up and down though?
Well, it says otherwise you can use your action to move the target, which must remain within the spell's range. So if the target is the object and float it up.
My understanding of levitate is it is verticality. The target can move only by pushing or pulling against a fixed object or surface within reach. That is, as far as I know, how that object would gain the ability to move inside of the space. Is
Okay.
you are pushing and pulling something. Levitate basically gives you, I would say, like Justin was saying there, it has verticality, but that's it.
All right, so that won't work. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I mean,
But
telekinesis,
will it
right?
not work? You could levitate yourself and go over there.
I could levitate myself and push off the wall and get there. I could
Yeah,
levitate
and then push yourself back.
Taryn. I could
You
levitate
just
you.
need a wall.
I could levitate you, Taryn, and you could push yourself over there.
Oh,
I
how
could drop
quickly
you.
it's Terran back in the danger.
Well, Taryn's the agile one, right?
I mean, all right, I can do it. Just don't drop me, please.
I can make you go up and down. So, all right. So this is an option. Are there any other options that we have that are good?
How are we able to tell whether those boards are they like wide enough? Can they actually be stood upon?
Roll another perception. You got that 18 there. You could stand on those boards.
And perhaps they're more sturdy than they look. Perhaps if we try to have somebody walk across those, use that as a kind of stepping stones over. Probably one of the lighter ones.
Yeah, so that's me again.
Why'd we bring a thief?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm probably more comfortable with the idea of levitating over, as long as Aiden says he won't drop me in the middle of the room.
Do you have something that weighs as much as a cube? Do the other cubes that we've picked up, do they appear to be relatively consistent in their weight?
You've got 2 on you. You could roll a
Yeah,
investigation.
sorry. Yeah, sorry, he was kind of asking Taryn at that.
Yeah, Terran will take out the cubes and try to check them. They weigh the same, basically.
Chris, this is one of those days at work when everybody's like, "Yeah, that's you, not me." Sorry.
Yeah, the
That's
cubes are pretty close weight. As far as you can tell, they seem to be the same.
You have
Can I tell
anything?
what?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask. Can I tell what their weight is? Because I'm not sure if I've written it into the item description.
I 2 pounds? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't think your carrying capacity based on those cubes should matter either. Um, but I'd say something like 2 pounds probably fits. Vaguely a kilo. I think that's 2.2 pounds. But yeah, I think as far as this goes, you guys are onto at least enough of an idea where it's more a question of, do you have something that you would like to sacrifice to place into that location? You could have something that is an object in itself, or you could have something as simple as a bag that you fill with something like the dirt that Jarek was throwing inside. of the temple.
Terran's gonna pipe out. I have a cursed short sword that's about 2 pounds. I'm more than happy to get rid of that.
You can definitely sacrifice that short sword. Is it 2 pounds? Is that exactly what it is in the book?
Yeah, it's 2 pounds in the.
Yeah, I think that is a perfect arbitrary number that you can manage to. Yeah, the short sword near miraculously seems to weigh the same amount as one of these cubes. So, what is the plan of action here? You have your objects to leave behind. You have a plan to approach. How are you going to execute?
I think it's on Island, right? You're going to cast Levitate on Terran.
Yeah, Taryn, get where like to that corner where you feel like if I levitate you up 20 feet, you'll be able to push yourself across the room, and then you can navigate yourself somewhere where I can put you down.
Yeah, but before you do that, Terran is gonna take out his rope from the backpack and just tie himself to it and throw the end of the rope. But just in case.
I've never done this before too, so like I can get you over there, but I'm not 100% sure I can load up my magic mace and again, and we haven't tried that.
Wait, what are you concerned about?
Am I gonna be able to cast levitate twice?
Are you looking at the spell?
How long
Uh,
does it last?
I was the last 10 minutes, but
Yeah,
do I
okay.
have to, like, to lower him, don't I have to end the spell? Or can I adjust his height?
Why? Yeah,
Well,
you can.
he can move once you levitate him. He can bring himself down as long as he's got something to like put purchase on.
Okay. That's the first time. All right, cool. So yeah, I'm ready. Ready, Taryn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. You're just limited by 20 feet of verticality per turn. That is still what 120 feet in a minute. You can change. Um, but that's basically what it is you control the height of where Terran is. Other than that, he's just kind of floating as if gravity doesn't exist once you cast this.
And there's a ceiling in this building, or is it open air?
Like 30-foot ceiling, yeah.
So worst case.
So like 60 foot off of this floor, realistically.
Okay.
30 feet above the jungle.
All right, so I'm going to imbue a second level spell in my Grand Ithil melee weapon.
As far as things go, you don't have to actually burn a spell. You could have easily done that in a previous day.
Thank you. All right, so I'm ready. Taryn, are you?
Yeah, I'm as ready as ever to become a human balloon.
Human balloon above a big pit of spikes. That's a nice image. Okay, so I'm going to cast levitate on Taryn and push him up 10 feet above where he is now. Taryn, you should be able to push yourself across the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna do just that and try to push myself towards the cube.
Do you want me to hold the rope?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Someone at least hold the rope. Anyone.
It's just a slow, like, draw of the coil of rope as it falls down into the pit. And you realize nobody held the end. So, Terran is going to float up. You will eventually push off of the wall, and you are aiming yourself towards the cube, but I guess realistically, you can control your height from that direction. I would say, for what it's worth, you can shoot yourself directly towards the cube. And you'll pass across the room, slowly reaching out until you can kind of grasp either the cube or the pedestal to stop yourself. But
Yeah.
you're moving it probably about 5 feet a second, kind of thing, as you like push off from the opposite wall.
I'm gonna try to catch on to the pedestal so I don't move the cube before I'm.
Gotcha. You can kind of brace yourself. Just do an acrobatics check here. Yeah. So you see as Taryn like pushes across this room and kind of just like floats almost like with his legs kind of like starting to overtake his head before he eventually is almost like head beneath his feet as he passes over towards the cube itself, grasping on with his arms once his muscles can start to interact. You see as he very quickly rights himself, and Taryn, you are effectively standing in front of the cube.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Indiana Jones thing and try to replace my short sword with the cube as I take it.
I think I was supposed to make a check for this. Yeah, I think you're good. You can swap it, leaving the short sword behind, grabbing the cube into your hand. What would you like to do?
I would like to go back to the others. I'm gonna tell
Just
Alan,
kind
you can pull me in now, please.
All
gotcha.
right.
So you're gonna let them pull you back.
Yeah.
And make sure he
Yeah, sort
stays
of
at the
drawn back
same
on the rope.
vertical height that he's at. And the rope to Jarek.
So as soon as you all start pulling him back, this is again one of those things. He's kind of outside of physics for a while here. There's no resistance. If you pull, he's going to go at speed. If you pull again, he's going to accelerate. So depending on how you pull, the rope is going to get very slack very quickly because the initial pull is all it takes. But you will basically pull him back towards you. Island can take a little bit of effort to make sure his height stays to a proper height, and you all can effectively pull Terran out of Kubazan's shrine.
High fives all around, maybe?
Well done.
Nice work, Taryn.
Yeah, thank you. Next time someone else gets me human balloon, okay?
Halfling blue.
Oh yeah, half a mortal balloon.
At least we didn't throw you.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, that would just be undignified.
Mara, what was the other solution to the problem you want to tell us? Is it leaping around those boards that stick out of the wall?
Is Island tempted to try to leap around those boards that stick out of the wall?
Not at all.
I would say that's probably not a solution then.
Right.
You guys only get to find out solutions if you try them.
Fair enough.
So, with the cube in hand, Taryn, what sort of thoughts cross your mind?
Well, at least no one took this one. I'm gonna put it into my backpack with the others.
What's the name of this one?
This one was Kuba-san, right? San.
Yeah, Kubazan. Taryn, you think that fellow you spotted in that building back there is still around?
Oh, we can take a look.
Interesting. Checking that place.
You think there's any chance he might have the cube of Ejin? He's the one. Maybe he's taken one of the others.
Suppose it's possible. Curious. I don't recall seeing an entrance on the western side there either. Maybe on the southern side. Get to the southern side.
You all probably could have spotted at least the end of the wall is vaguely at the cliff face along that southern side. Um, so you could go around um, to get to the southern side.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's. I'm also kind of curious what that man was doing over there.
My bad. I think now we could switch to Island and Jarek doing the survival. So you can clear down the rest of the way around the southern side. Starts to kind of squeeze. It's pretty close to the wall and the actual cliff face. As far as things go, it is essentially built right up to the wall, but you can kind of like climb inside of vines. Um, but I'd say on some point, you guys are looking basically at the idea of like, you're pretty much climbing up to the height of this wall to get around this edge. If you wanted to continue around to the south.
We could do that, or Karen, I think you said you spotted a couple places you might be able to climb over.
I'm pretty sure I could climb over this wall anytime. So
Yeah, but that was for everybody. You guys pretty much have like regular access around these walls, just as the vines kind of are grown over them. Um, there's different breaks. It was more that you guys could easily climb over, not that you can simply walk in was the big thing. But the walls of this like compound are not keeping it.
So maybe we just pick a spot and climb over. That sound good to Taryn and Island?
Yeah, sure.
sounds fine to me. From where we are, though, can I remember about whereabouts I saw the other man? Be like
He was
northeast.
probably about he was probably 100 or so feet to the south of you when you were at the northern side of the compound. He's probably vaguely center of the compound.
Alright, I just relay that to the others. But yeah, I see. I remember seeing him like more center of the compound, just so we know. Start looking for him there. See if he's still around that place.
Where do you all want to climb? Do you want to climb from like that southeast or southwest? Do you want to climb just on that western central side? You want to go back to the north?
Say the first decent spot we find, kind of going back the way we had come. First place we spot. Just use that one.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
basically the western side then, right?
So you can climb over pretty much on the southwestern side. There's a couple of buildings that you've already spotted. You can effectively climb over just between them and its wall. As far as things go here, let me just get a stealth check from you all. God, D&D Beyond's dice roller is so laggy. So in the process of getting everyone over the wall, um, you're going to at some point have um, Zat's kind of tripping and falling over the edge. Jarek, you are going to be able to catch Zaps and almost kind of like Superman him for a moment as you like prevent this like monstrosity of noise from clattering down these vines and to the ground, and you can very slightly set him down onto his feet again. Everything seems fine. You guys are inside of this area. It's still thick jungle around, but you can already see from just over this side of it that part of this area has been cleared of jungle. And while it doesn't have like a super open, uh, like full feel to it, it's not being consumed by the jungle. You can almost see that like flora and fauna battling that can keep the jungle back more than that they are beating the jungle. And you can kind of see that there seems to be a central hut that is kind of the location where it is clearest ahead of you to the northeast. You cannot at present see anybody moving about, but you do notice smoke is rising from around that area that is cleared in the center, um, kind of getting dissipated into the fog and moisture of Omu as it rises too high, but it's probably making it about 10 or 15 feet up into the air, um, vaguely to the roof height of this circular central building, that seems to be the center of this little courtyard that you all have found. From this kind of perch or from this view to the side, what sort of thoughts do you all have? You've got a little bit of a clearing and a little bit of a building, where it is now kind of apparent that you saw this man before.
Did you say we saw this man before?
Yeah, Taryn spotted somebody inside of here a while ago.
Okay.
Derek's going to suggest we try and make our way towards the smoke, towards that hut.
Alan's all for that. Follow the architecture.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Do we want to try to sneak up on him, or are we going more open?
Maybe try and keep moving stealthily, at least till we get maybe a bit of a closer look if we can, like toward somewhat more cleared area. Tough kind of hacking our way through the still kind of thick jungle parts, but can try and move kind of quietly.
If that sounds good, that you all are going to try to sneak towards this central hut, you can go for a stealth check for me. Oh my gosh, why can't I turn off his roller? There's no way.
Another nat one. Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to help him this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just absurd to get 2 1s, even at disadvantage.
Did he just cut
Um,
his cannon off like in mid stride?
yeah, I mean, normally, especially at this kind of levels, I try not to make it like a player's fault that bad shit happens. Like Justin, I feel like it was today Jarek rolled a 1, and it was like tripping over a vine. It's not his fault, but it's also not his fault. I feel like that's kind of the best way to do when people are like this fucking like monstrous heroes. But yeah, I feel like it's the kind of thing where Zaps is like singing as you're walking up to it. It's hard to kind of always come to terms with this stuff. But as a artificer, he is kind of a tinkerer and a person of tools. A lot of things kind of attached to and hanging from his person. There's just like a little bit of a ring to every single one of his steps. And you can just kind of hear like this hollow ring is kind of like crossing this courtyard, and it's already echoing off of other buildings by the time you can like take a little moment to slow and calm this like these movements. As you all approach and kind of step out of the initial jungle, a few things are going to happen. Among the first things that you all are going to perceive is this smoke is not simply smoke rising off of a campfire. There are multiple points around camp where these little smokestacks are rising up. Just little wisps. By the time, again, they're much more than like the height of a human off of the ground. It's already very much scattered into the air around. The humidity and the haze of this place is kind of consuming it. But as you all are getting this kind of expansive view inside of this little area, you're going to see some more well-trodden footpaths, some less trodden places where you can see the vines are already starting to kind of reclaim a little bit of ground. But among the first things, the noise will maybe pause your attention, but everybody kind of just like little rabbits on the edge of this clearing are going to stop as you see towards the entrance area off to the east of this location. There are pillars of bodies stacked, one speared through the other vertically, and there are human bodies on these like spear-like tree trunks that are rising up to about 15 feet above the air, above the ground. You can see most of them have about 5 bodies impaled. Some of them have as many as like 8 bodies, but like 5 to 8 humans are impaled on each of these towards the entrance here. What is crossing everyone's mind as this sight enters your vision?
So Jarek's like mouthing a prayer under his breath. Do these bodies look fresh, or are they more like rotting?
Initial view, they are charred black. They've been burnt.
Alan's curious if this is like a cremation sort of practice he's seen before.
You could do a religion check here. This is more like a sacrifice. This is pretty horrific.
So this is more about the people that are here than it is about a religion I recognize. We should be very careful.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Still good.
regretting going here by now.
These sacrifices are still going on. We need to stop them. Well, Jed are kind of like gesturing towards the kind of the various things of smoke rising into the air. If that man is still here, perhaps he can tell us what's going on. he hasn't. He's not one of these corpses.
He's probably the maker of the corpses, right?
You think one man could do all that?
No.
It's just, that's gruesome.
I'm not sure 4 men can stop whatever did that. Should we still approach the central gazebo?
Yeah, Jarek's gonna start walking towards the hut.
Yeah, if Yarek's walking, then Terran's following. Really want to leave anyone alone here.
No, I'm not getting left behind.
So while you all are kind of taking in this initial view, in about the same kind of time that you're sort of coming to your conclusion, you are going to hear movement from within, and you are going to hear the voice of kind of like a frail old man's voice as you hear someone kind of reach out, and you will hear Thasma? Thasma, have you returned? And then after that, you'll kind of hear footsteps approaching. Effectively, somebody is about to come into view of you.
So if we're hearing footsteps, then I think Jarek will probably then just kind of stand and wait rather than keep approaching.
Is there anywhere nearby to take cover?
You guys are surrounded by jungle.
I'm going to try to duck down a little bit out of sight.
Make a stealth check. So I heard correctly, Jarek, you're basically just kind of waiting there. Island is attempting to just kind of drop into the bushes. Taryn, thoughts?
I'm just gonna wait beside Jarek.
Asma, have you returned? You're just going to see a small little man who's kind of very slowly kind of making steps around this circular building. And you can kind of sense um, he's staying pretty close to it. And he's kind of walking in a kind of slow little like hobbles. And I think pretty quickly you'll see that one of his feet, his inside foot, is always up next to this building, and he's just going to slowly kind of walking around this building. Plasma? Who's there? I heard you. And he could very well be looking at you while he is saying, I heard you. But he doesn't see you.
Yeah, by that point, Terran is gonna pipe up. Yeah, not Phasma, but we're over here. You can pinpoint me.
When you basically speak, you'll see pretty quickly his head looks almost directly at you, almost instantaneously. Your your voice seems unfamiliar. Who are you?
Yeah, the name's Terran. Who are you?
He'll just start to kind of like walk away and towards your voice. He's probably still about 10 or so feet away. Are you going to let him kind of walk up to you? just slow little methodical shuffles. It's going to take him probably like 10 or so seconds to cover. Does that sound right? Probably like 15 or so seconds to cover those like 10 feet or like 5 meters from you to him.
As he's shuffling up then to us, can I spot any weapons on him?
Make a perception check. As he is slowly shuffling towards you, I think you could see that he's got like a small dagger. As far as things go, I would say it's safe to recognize that pretty much everybody has like some sort of a knife as a eating utensil. Other than this knife that's kind of visibly like wrapped around and like um, it's kind of like wrapped around a little bit of his shirt and then tucked into his belt, but you can see the handle, the hilt of the knife kind of sticking out. Other than that knife, he doesn't seem to have any tools or implements, let alone any weapons on him. But otherwise, this is just a little frail old man wearing kind of like a small tunic of a shirt that's brown, very like threadbare or threadbare, and probably almost capri like pants, where it's like the base of his pants is so shredded and torn that they're more like shorts at this point. But he's just kind of slowly walking towards you with his bare feet, just kind of like slowly, methodically moving across the ground. When he gets close to where he could almost reach out to you, you're going to see as he does reach out and he slows a little bit. His hand is almost exactly at the height of your face as he's starting to approach these last few um, feet or like half a meter.
I'm Terran's basically gonna reach out his hand just so he basically touch his hand. So yeah, I'm over here.
You already said your name was Taryn, right?
Yep.
Okay, so he's going to say to you, um, as soon as he touches your hand, you're going to hear as he responds with your name, Taryn, and he'll slow his kind of shuffle. His hand's going to be kind of like loosely held within yours. His muscles are not like straining against your grasp or anything. His other hand is going to come out. He is still reaching for your face now. Um, if he was reaching out with his left hand before, he's now reaching for your face with his right hand.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, as he calls out Terran, I'm just gonna answer like, yeah, I'm here, and I'm not gonna stop his hand.
As soon as he touches your face, his fingers, 3 fingers, are going to slide across your forehead. And then he's going to say, as he kind of steps back, like one little step, "Who has sent you?"
I mean, technically, Sindra Sylvain, yes.
His head kind of drops a little bit. He seems to be kind of like staring almost blank, shit, very blankly, just over your head. Like, I do not know, Sindra. You are you a practitioner of magic?
Not really. I can do some kind of nifty tricks with my hands, but not real magic. No, sorry.
You are not of Thay.
No, I am not. I'm sorry. What was your name again? I don't think I got it.
I am Arvix. My caravan has been lost to me. It has been some days since I have seen the others.
The others, would they be of they then, I guess? Seeing as you asked me.
They hired me, yes. I expected they were the only exposition damn it. Expedition.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, our expedition didn't really start off here in Omu, so we were probably here first. But what were you looking for here, if I may ask?
To ask is perhaps dangerous. You are a friend. Taryn is a friend.
I mean, so long as you don't attack me, I'm friendly to anyone, basically. So, yeah, friend.
I am no danger to you. And he'll look over towards Jarek. And he'll kind of like feel out with a hand.
Jarek will kind of similarly to Taryn, kind of step forward, reaching out his own hand to let him make contact. Um,
So if he's kind of like now touching between the two of you, he's going to start to pull the hand away from Taryn. As basically Jarek touches his right hand, that'll be the first time you feel his left hand starts to like put tension away from your grasp. Are you letting go of him, Taryn?
Yeah, I mean, I see no reason
And
not.
he's going to do a pretty similar thing where he's going to reach with his left hand for Jarek's face.
Jarek is kind of, as he's doing that, he's looking in, trying to look into the man's eyes. Do they seem like clouded over? He has
I
like
don't
either.
know if all blindness is via like cataracts, and I think the cataracts are why people have like glazed over white eyes. I feel like it's entirely possible that this guy is blind for other reasons. But if you do a perception check, go for that.
I mean, I'm getting the impression that he can't see, but I guess I'm trying to see like if it's like maybe if it was due to like an injury versus um, or something
Yeah,
else.
I gotcha. Yeah, just do a perception check here. Yeah, I would say for what it is worth, um, you see something at least that confirms that this is indeed like a blind man, instead of somebody who's kind of like holding some sort of a ruse. Again, I'm not entirely sure that all blindness is caused by cataracts, that eyes can't look perfectly normal. Um,
No, sometimes blind people. Well, can depends on why they're blind, but yeah, blind people can have eyes that look completely normal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it's not always. I feel like cataracts are always put in movies because it's like a clear and obvious sign. Like if there's no retina, that somebody's not able to see.
Yeah, and I was also thinking maybe just because given he's older, but I guess he's not that old. Um,
Yeah, like perception wise, I think looking over this guy's probably like mid 50s kind of thing. As far as a human goes, he's lived a good life in these times, but is by no means like a decrepit old man. His body is more frail, perhaps because he is blind, only in that this is somebody who much of the world would kind of just let them pass by and die. Um, Probably one of the initial things that you guys might recognize when you do meet a blind person in a situation like this is somebody who probably fights very hard to survive.
Right. Yeah. So Jarek will kind of letting him do his thing. Who is who is Phasma?
So he would have a similar thing. Pretty much as soon as he's able to get a hand on a part of your body that is clearly face, his fingers are going to go directly to your forehead, with a very similar feel. And then he'll kind of like loosen that kind of reach for your head. I was traveling with the Red Wizards. They had need of a guide who could translate the script of the Odomowans, and they paid me handsomely to do what I do best. Uh, Thasma was one of my keepers.
And may I ask, how did you become separated from your employer?
I have always stayed back, and they have taken me to the temples only after they have found them. I was here when the others came. The snake people attacked our camp. They left me, I think, expecting I was too frail to be a threat. They left.
So it's as he's kind of saying that, Jarek's going to look around again at the kind of the bodies impaled on spears and um, like yeah, shaking his head, turning back to the man. And how long ago was this attack?
Oh, I guess you can probably sense at least daytime, kind of like general heat. Um, I
Oh yeah, I
think he
didn't really
could
think of
probably
that.
tell you, like, it was during the night, four nights ago. Yes, 4 nights. It came in the night.
But we have been traveling for some time. Imagine it difficult out here on your own. Are you hungry? Thirsty? Don't have much to spare, but
I think he actually can offer supplies to you all. Um, Yeah, I think his response will be, um, my supplies, the expedition supplies are here. And he's going to kind of reach back, almost like opening up his posture as his left arm is going to kind of extend. And while he's kind of like extending out, like over here, he's clearly like kind of like pointing in the wrong direction. He's like extended out towards the like yurt that's in the center here. But you can kind of see like the sound of something lets him track onto it far better than perhaps his memory. If this guy had to find his way back to that house already, he might be lost, and he's like 10 feet away from it right now.
I see. I suppose I assume the snake people might have destroyed the supplies in their attack, but I'm glad to see you. You're still provisioned. Do you mind if we perhaps if we return your dwelling, sit talk for a bit? Don't mind the company.
Roll a persuasion. I do not mind that we talk, but if the others return, you should not be here. They would not be happy to know that you are here. Your Sindra, and he'll look vaguely back towards Terran. Your Sindra would not be safe if they knew that you were here. And he'll look back towards Jarek. But it has been some days. I do not know if we are safe.
Understood. And how many temples have the wizards have you had you shown them?
Are you still holding his right hand with yours?
Uh, I don't think there'd be any reason for him to have let go. So yes.
Gotcha. So he's going to kind of like move to a motion where his two hands are kind of grasped around your palm. So he'll kind of like try to like move his right hand to like kind of flip it over and like palm up to the like back of your hand, as he'll kind of have you in like this like pleading motion of he'll look to you and I beg that you allow me to join you. I need someone, and I will share what I know. And kind of looking back towards where he expects Taryn to be, I would have you give me your word that you will not abandon me, that my help will not be for naught.
Derek's gonna look towards Taryn.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel right abandoning a blind man out here in the wilderness. So yeah,
And Jarek will kind of nod even, and then kind of after a moment realize like the can't see him nod, and he will maybe take his other hand and kind of like almost put it over the palm up, and he'll be like, "Give you our word, do our best to be safe with us.
The last that I saw, damn it, me a seeing person. The last that I was shown were the entryway scripts for a temple of Nang Nang. Nang Nang is a frog goddess who the people of this land have worshipped as one of 9 who has helped Omu and in some ways Ubtoa. They had the entryway cuneiform for me to translate. Nang Nang was the last, shortly before we were. Before that, they had inscriptions from the temple of Yijing, little Almirage. They are rabbit-like creatures. And Yijing was inside of a 10-day. Maybe 3 or 4 days before.
Jarek's going to kind of glance pointedly over towards Taryn and then kind of back towards Island as well as they hears that.
And the first temple that they found was for Mao, a snake-like creature, appendageless dragon. They had the inscription from Mao, was among the first of their finds.
And you said they always came here to get you when they had task for you. So do you know where they make their camp?
We were their camp.
We haven't seen Mao, have we, boys?
When you speak up to ask that, he's going to kind of reach out his hand for Island and for your face as well. Doing the same thing where
Face, yeah.
once he can touch your face, he's going to feel for your forehead. And in the same way, like kind of as soon as he kind of rubs your forehead, he's kind of going to return to whatever stance he was kind of in.
They're just gonna pep up the. I gotta ask, why are you going for the foreheads and shaking?
You, the people of Thay, they do dark things. And among their tributes is their body. Many show their allegiance here. And they'll point just 2 of his fingers right to the center of his forehead.
Are they branded on their foreheads?
Many do. scarification, yes. Others, oh, go deeper.
Well, that sounds right unpleasant, but well, that's one way to identify people, I guess.
So the wizards have been gone now for 3 days. They went out to Amirage and haven't come back.
I think it's been some 4 days since Thasma took me to Nang Nang's temple.
We, I gotta say, we've been to Nana's temple. There was a lot of grung there. Uh, wouldn't they didn't bother you, or you didn't bother them? They seemed friendly, at least to us.
I am afraid wizards of Thay do not do friendly.
Oh, that's their loss.
Not killing is usually as friendly as they get. And usually those they don't kill, it's because we serve a greater purpose.
And your purpose is a translator of cuneiform.
I use the old Omawan language yet.
How do you know the old Omawan languages?
I have lived my whole life in Chult and spent much of it studying the different ruins of these lands.
Well, we have much to talk about then. But should we leave this place in case they come back? What's your expectation of their return?
It has been 4 days since anyone has returned. I am not sure what to expect. But you, and he'll kind of like reach out his arms to where Taryn and Jarek were. You have promised I can come with you. You will not abandon me now. You have
Yeah,
promised. Your word.
you're free to come with us. I mean,
Then he'll look back towards Island. Then I will come with you.
Is there anything of value in the camp that we should bring with us? There might be some items that we're looking for.
Oh, we have food, water. We have many things. What do you require? What can you carry?
How about artifacts from some of the temples? Is there anything like that around?
The wizards always kept everything to themselves. I've been shown little more than the entryways to many of these temples. Been able to set my hands against some of their murals, feel the works of many ages gone past. And you just see kind of like a reminiscent like eye as he kind of sighs for a moment. You can kind of sense like in his mind he's seeing some of those images of like the Almirage chasing off um Shingambi, I feel like. Kind of things like that where he's like visually looking at the feel of some of those carvings that have been in some of these temples.
Do you guys think it's possible that they went into the tomb of the Almirage and didn't come out?
Tell me, when you took the Fae to these temples, did they speak of finding anything, retrieving anything important? Did they seem excited afterwards, so far as you could tell?
I think he would share at least a little bit of knowledge that they probably did find stuff. I think the most likely explanation that you're going to kind of get from him is that they were not necessarily in a rush to go through things. So, like, his order of operation was hurry up and wait, where he would sit in camp. Um, he could then hear back from a wizard now and then when they come back and they bring him to a temple. And it would probably be the type of thing where he would translate like the entryway, and then they would bring him back. The wizards would explore, and they might come back for him. That's kind of the extent of his experience. This is not somebody who was like a privileged member of an expedition. This was somebody who was used as a tool, and that's kind of his experience of things. So, does it mean that he comes across sometimes where they might be a little bit better of a mood and less kind of abusive towards him? Yes. Does that confirm anything? Not really. And he doesn't have any moments where they said, like, Eureka, we have a cube. They never really shared information like that with him.
Right. Yeah, I'm just thinking like, if he overheard them or something like that, I assume they wouldn't confide in him, obviously.
Yeah, so
Or else,
again, to kind of like plug things together, though, they first found the Temple of Mao. 3 or 4 days later, they found the Temple of Yijing. 3 or 4 days later, they found the Temple of Neng. And the Temple of Neng Neng was his last contact.
right. So yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're not like rushing him from place to place. Not doesn't seem like they're super unless they're like us having to kind of search. Um,
Well, it seems like they might be back shortly. But we never found the Temple of Mao, right?
no, I don't think we found Mao, Unk, or there's one more, right?
Shigambi.
Yeah. Especially we found Ubulaka. We found Abasoto, Kubasan now, and
So your map labeled 1 is Ublaka, labeled 2 is Nang Nang, 3 is Papo Zotl, 4 is Wango. The unlabeled one is Yijing, and then 5 is Kubazan.
Right. Thank you.
If this is their main camp, I probably don't want to be here if they come back. You say, perhaps we should get moving.
All right.
So
Where should we?
Sorry,
You can go ahead. What's Taryn thinking?
I was thinking. So, do we want to go more south, or do we want to go up on the highway again and go on the eastern side? The highways, I'd say.
I'm also wondering if if the Yuan-Ti attacked wizards, if the wizards had the cubes, did the Yuan-Ti get them? They tell us if they did, probably not.
And if we get as many as we can, and then we go back to the UNT and say we have these, then maybe they'll let us know if they have the others.
But we agree we cannot let them have all of them.
All right, hold up here. So when Jarek says if the Yuan-Ti attack the wizards, maybe the Yuan-Ti have the cubes. Orvix's response to you is going to be he'll kind of look over to you, and I do not believe Zegmira would allow the cubes into any other's possession. This exposition was hers. If they had cubes, they would be on her. And then if Taryn says that about the Yuan-Ti, Orvex is going to look to you. You are working with the Yuan-Ti.